And before we dive into verse 17, I want to show you a demonstration. Here, you come over here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take it back to creation. And this is God making man. And so you come up here. Fall in right behind him, and you right behind him. So as God creates man, he forms one being, he forms one body, and he calls his name Adam. And what does he say when he's making Adam? Let us make man in our image. And so since God said, let us make man in our image, stand over here, Adam has 3 parts. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? What does the Bible say? That he picks up the dirt of the earth. Did you all know you're dirty this morning? And he picks up the pre-existing substance of the earth, and he begins to form a body. And then he breathes into him his spirit. I believe the Greek word is zoe, meaning life. And then man becomes a living being. So since God breathed in his spirit inside of Adam, a spirit is what you are. Man is a spirit. He is not a body. And you are not a soul. Man is a spirit. And those that worship God must worship him in truth and in spirit. The soul is an attribute that you have. This is where my emotions flow or crush or shatter or break. This is what holds my pain, switch it up, my power, determination, my grind are housed here in my soul or mind. Mind is different from brain. The brain is a part of my body. So think of the body as an apartment. This is a rental. This is not what you own. It's an apartment. Depending on how you work out in the gym, it might be a mansion. So the body is where you live in. The soul is how you live it in. And the spirit is who lives in it. So let's talk about your soul for a second. David says, no man cared for my soul. They didn't care how I felt. They didn't care about the damage. They didn't care how I was feeling. But you need to know that just because you feel a certain way, that's not who you are. And so verse 17, it says that the desires of the spirit are against the flesh, and the desires of the flesh are against the spirit. And so the thing is, what you need to know is that if nothing went wrong in your life, there would still be a war in your members, coming from the fact that oil and vinegar do not mix. And so you face here, because the desires of the flesh are against the spirit, and the desires of the spirit are against the flesh. And on one side, your spirit is saying that you are holy. On the other side, your flesh is saying you are nasty. On one side, your spirit is saying that you are more than a conqueror. And on the other side, your body is saying you are nothing but a loser. And my soul keeps going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And after a while, your soul says, y'all two were driving me crazy. And so many people say they're struggling with their mental health. But I think, in fact, what you're struggling with is your soul. But through the language changing, through culture changing, we have lost the correct language to identify the issue that we're experiencing. And if you can't identify the issue with the correct language, you're never going to be able to solve the problem. It seems kind of strategic, doesn't it? Right? If I go to the doctor and I'm saying, hey, doc, my body's hurting, and he gives me a Band-Aid, whole time I dropped a brick on my foot, I'm not going to be able to get the problem fixed. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Y'all give it up for them. They did great. And he says, for the desires of the flesh are against the spirit, and the desires of the spirit are against the flesh. For these are opposed to each other. Pay close attention to keep you from doing the things you want to do. Most people think Christianity is about what you don't get to do. But once the Holy Spirit is inside of you, he changes your desires. Now you finally get to live out the new desires that God gives you as a new person, as a person that has experienced a new birth.